stocks moving to the upside just ever so slightly today. A little bit of a mixed performance here, though you are seeing recovery in the likes of Microsoft following that call with Gil Luria. We had him on earlier. But remember, tech hitting record highs following the Fed's rate cut. Our next guest, though, seeing outperformance in two of the Mag 7 names in particular. Joining us now to discuss, we've got Mark Mahaney, Evercore ISI's Senior Managing Director and Head of Internet Research. Mark, thanks for joining us. We're going to get to your individual company calls, but I do want to start on the broader sector. To what extent is the path forward for the Fed playing into your overall outlook when it comes to large cap tech names?
Okay, well, thanks for having me on, Madison. I would think that it creates a kind of a benign environment for mega cap tech stocks. If we go back if we replay the tape over the last 2 years, the beginning of 2022 was a terrible period for tech stocks, for long duration assets. And because we went from 0 to 100 or from 0 to 5% in terms of interest rates, unprecedented spike in interest rates, and it really crushed the tech sector. We had 30, 40, 50% sell-offs. Ever since then, ever since the rate path has stopped rising, and then we've just been waiting to see just when it would start, when we'd have rates come down, we've had this pretty material outperformance in tech stocks. And now that the rates are starting to come down, that should help as well. I think a lot of this is anticipated into the stocks, but still, a declining rate environment is generally good for long duration assets like tech.
So, Mark, you have encouraging, optimistic outlooks on a number of these names, but I want to zero in on a recent note that you just published on Amazon. You raised your price target on the stock. You raised it to $240. That was up from $225. And you're talking about in this report the focus from Amazon ramping up their opportunity within Prime Video. Give me the so what factor. Why is this important? Why is this significant? And ultimately, how is this really going to drive some of that business going forward?
Okay, and this is, Amazon advertising is just one part of the business. Amazon is so big as a company, it's kind of hard to hit a lot of home runs from here. It's all singles, really, but this is a good single, and that is, the company does about $50 billion a year in ad revenue. It's actually the third largest ad platform in the world, and there's a lot of still unmonetized or lightly monetized areas. Amazon Prime Video, they only started really directly monetizing Amazon Prime Video in January, when people were kind of opted into an ad-supported plan. You could pay $3 a month to get out of that, but you started seeing ads, and they started bumping up the ad load as you've kind of gone through the year. And they're coming to market with reasonably or relatively below market price, especially versus, say, like a Netflix, in terms of that ad inventory. So it's it's been an under-monetized asset, and it's a great opportunity for Amazon to scale up another revenue stream. And what the so what of this is, I think it's going to allow Amazon's ad revenue growth rate, which has been around 20%. I think it'll allow it to accelerate going into next year. And then this is very high margin business. If you take a look at Amazon, you look at retail, 5% operating margins, cloud is 30%, advertising is 30% too. So anything to boost the growth rates for either cloud or advertising is good for the business overall. I call it the best mix shift story in tech, i.e. the fastest growing assets have the highest margins. It's good for Amazon's margins too. That's the so what.
How much do the NFL games on Thursday nights play into that broader ad revenue call?
Oh, it's a big bet that the company has made on live sports. So they've leaned more and more into Thursday night football, and I think they're going to be carrying a wild card playoff game this year. But there's more sports content, live sports. The NBA, we do call that the PPA, the Professional Pickleball Association, is having its World Championships on Amazon Prime. But just in general, on a more serious note, there's just a lot more live sports content that's on Amazon, and I think that's going to be one of the biggest investment areas for the company over the next 3 to 5 years. And you can monetize that. By the way, sports carries some of the highest CPMs out there because it's a rare opportunity put together that kind of intense audience, size and frequency of that audience. So yeah, I'd expect to see more of that from Amazon.